Hi guys, this is Sadaus, and I'm taking a look at the British units in the British deck for the Wargame European Escalation Beta. Just remember it is a beta. So let's start off. Here is the fob. It's just a regular old fob. Like the other NATO factions, when you start off with an American command vehicle. This is an American Jeep, and then you can delete it. But unlike West Germany or France, the British also have their own command jeep. I haven't seen any for France or West Germany, but the British in this deck, which they have given for the beta, does have their own jeep, which is also 100 points. Then there's the Sultan. It's an armored command vehicle. It's not even really that armed. I don't even know what the point of it is. Then the command chieftain, command tank that happens to be a chieftain, Mark 10. Then a supply truck, the stalwart, and the Chinook. This is the British version of the Chinook. I think the American version of the Chinook has 2,000 liters of fuel capacity, whereas this only has 1,500. And I think the price difference makes it a less useful vehicle. 60 points as opposed to 75 for 2,000, I think. Could be wrong. I'm not quite sure about those values. Then 1st British Infantry is a Spartan. I think it just has an MG. It's a pretty fast vehicle for the most part. Yeah, 130 kilometers an hour. That's road speed. Off-road speed is 95. Yeah, that's pretty fast. Green jackets, sort of like recon infantry. I don't believe they were recon infantry in the previous game. I think they might have just been special forces, but they are that in this game. And just like all the other infantry in the game, they no longer have grenades. It's all LMGs, and they have very good optics. Scorpion, also from Wargame European Escalation. If I remember correctly, the Scorpion had 2 variants, and I'm not sure how many it'll have this time. Probably have the same number. And this one's got a main gun, no autocannon. And then there's the Fox, which is a really small sort of vehicle. Reminds me very strongly of the Tetrarch, if anyone remembers that from Company of Heroes.
Look at the
Part of the stealth. Ugh. Just wants to stay invisible. What is it doing? Just remember, something is weird. It is a beta, so. But, yep, really small little vehicle. Looks to be just an autocannon. The big guns for the Brits remain the Chieftain, Mark 10 in this game. In this deck, it just has the Chieftain Mark 10. Pretty good accuracy. And just like all the other Chieftains, slow as hell, 40 kilometers an hour. Pretty good front armor too. It's a beast of a tank. And then the biggest beast in the game, the Challenger 1. Can't remember if there's Challenger 2. It is probably the most heavily armored unit in the game. It is really tough as hell. I don't know if the values have changed from Wii, because unlike in Wii, it doesn't tell you the number for the armor. It just says, it's just got this bar, and I wish it would give more. Oh wait, no it does. Sorry, to the left it says 18, 10, 6, 4. I feel like it's about as good as it was in Wargame European Escalation. Then in terms of infantry, Warrior. This in the beta, I don't know if you haven't played the betas yet. I see this all the time. This has become like the AMX-10 or the VAB of Wii. It's just a vehicle that I see all the time. It's really cost effective. It's pretty strong. It's got a very good gun. It's just a really good autocannon, and I see it being used all the time. I don't know if everyone's playing Brits, but I see that all the time. And Fusiliers, sort of like the mainline infantry for the beta, relatively useful. I see them in large numbers. People tend to use them in like groups of 30 and 40, and they're really damn tough. They usually beat most other things.
Break time's over, people. We're on the move again.
This looks like a variant of the M113 in a way. Could be. And ATG Milan. That's interesting. The British get ATGM infantry. I don't think they had that in Wii. And they're using the Milan. Why? I have no idea. I would expected the British to have their own ATGM. And Javelin, also a 2-man squad, and this ATGM is a 5-man squad, unlike the Americans and the unlike the Americans and the French, who use 2-man ATGM squads. Of course, just remember that is because the deck is chosen for you in the beta. It's not a deck you can build yourself. FB432 again. It looks like an M13 or M113. It really does. Then in terms of support vehicles, you're looking at this mortar carrier. I really like the design of this. It looks really cool. I just want to see what's inside of the hatch. It just won't let me. Some drops of smoke.
We'll pass on your regards, sir.
Let's see what its range is. 5,600 meters. That's pretty far. And it's okay. It's not that accurate, but it's okay. And the Abbott, relatively decent artillery. I find a lot of players are using it quite a lot in the game, especially a lot of players I see going Brits take Abbotts and Spartans. That seems to be, and Challengers. That seems to be the entire company for some reason. It's 40 points. And for a vet 2, so it's one up from rookie. It's trained, so I see it being used a lot. Then this is the British anti-air. Finally, the Brits will have to rely on Stingers. Finally, some proper anti-air for Brits. Thank you. Some tracked Rapier. I haven't used it because I don't play Brits much, but stats look okay. 2,800 meters. That's not really that far, but that's pretty good. It's interesting they have 2 bars, one for the range for aircrafts and one for the range of helicopters, which makes sense. Not a heavily armored unit, but may also make sense. There's a Rover Wombat. It's an ATGM. Oh, it's not an ATGM. This is looks like a recordless rifle. So recordless rifle jeeps, and no one's inside of it. Remember, it is a beta. And there's the Striker. This was in Wargame European Escalation. I never used it because I thought its accuracy was made it absolutely worthless. And he seemed to have dealt with it by increasing its AP power quite a lot. I don't remember its AP power being 22, and it's also far more accurate than I think it was before. I think my accuracy might have been about 4. It's also interesting, a lot of the ATGM, I guess ones that have armor-piercing values would have suppression. And finally there's the Lynx Toe.
There's no enemy air defense.
I feel like its accuracy is increased, but that could be because of the veterancy. Yep, could be because of the veterancy. Now that's all the units for Brits. One last thing I wanted to show you was that a lot of players have been using artillery to quite big effect in the beta as I've been playing it. And I just wanted to show you about infantry combat in the game. When infantry move into territory, you select an area. So I can select that whole area. If you can see the white box around it, you don't select building or an area, a position. You just choose an area and they go into it. So if I want to move into that area, they get out and they jump straight into it. And now they occupy all of the windows, etc., etc. Or they should. Now what I'm going to do is, I believe that once infantry occupy an area, they need to be killed before infantry of another faction can move into it themselves. So what I'm going to do is also show you the impact of artillery on houses and how fast you can fire with the relatively small number of artillery pieces. I feel like in this game artillery fires a lot quicker, so you can just get more fire on targets, but the time between firing is a lot longer. So let's get an idea of this. AUFX fires about 5-6 shots really in rapid succession. The Abbotts don't seem to do that. They seem to fire a lot slower. That could be because of the way they're designed, the rate of fire issues, just to balance the different artillery pieces, so there's reason to take one faction over another if you're going to make an artillery heavy company. And I'm sure there might be multiple types of artillery pieces that works. one last look
Join them.
to see how accurate it is. In the meantime, I can buy some planes. You get a Tornado, which is Air Superiority Harrier, which is ground attack, and that's it in this beta deck. Destroyed. That's pretty good as well. If anyone wants to know what I'm running this on, I'm using a Core i5 2500 and a GTX 670 with 12 gigs of RAM. So it's a pretty decently spec system. I'm also running my OS on a SSD, and the game is running on a 2 terabyte 720 RPM hard drive. So I've noticed it loads really quickly. Now this is the Tornado. It's a pretty good unit. I've seen it chase down quite a lot of, like the Eagle, I've seen it chase down quite a lot of Soviet planes, usually my Soviet planes. Now if you notice, it's got infrared and radar missiles. So that impacts, I guess, the way whether or not it can lock on or... Yep. Also, apparently, when you have the radar weapons that use radar guidance, it makes them a bigger target, which makes sense because there are some anti-air missiles that use radar to spot. Let's check out their damage on these artillery pieces. There's something important to note that most of the planes have pretty bad recon for the most part. Pretty bad recon optics, usually none to So what you have to remember is that just because you send a plane, say, into hotel, doesn't mean they're going to be able to fire very quickly, because they need that wind-up time where they aim and then come down to fire their or whatever missiles, or I mean, in most cases they'll shoot their cannons or Gatling cannons or whatever they have as their primary weapon pretty quickly. But if they're going to drop a bomb, they're not going to be able to do it that easily. Not unless you choose a direct fire, in which case you tell them, I want you to fire on this position regardless of what you see. And in that case, if you're lucky or if you have a good idea of what's there, then you'll be able to hit something. Otherwise, you're going to be just firing blindly for the most part. And you'll see something as your plane flies over it, but it'll be too late for the plane to be able to fire it. Just another tip with planes, you really want to control, say the plane is going over Echo to do a strafing run of some kind. So it's going to fire its missiles. At some point. Yes. And say it's being chased. Now you don't want to click evac, which will tell it to get the hell out. What you want to do is try and control where it's going. You want to try and pull back to your anti-air, so even if your plane gets destroyed, the enemy plane that's chasing it will also get shot down. Yeah, there's a good chance if you have enough AA. And then you want to control where it goes to evac. So I'm sending it right to there, it's going in that direction, I click evac, it should go straight in that direction towards getting the hell off the map. Or not. Oh wait, no, it's gone. Sometimes it just disappears. Sometimes what you'll see is, say in a dogfight and they're chasing each other, they will just go up. They will go up into the atmosphere, higher atmosphere, and just higher altitude, and they'll get the fuck out. So, yeah. If you guys enjoyed it, thanks very much. See you around.